8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be. It's the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley got it all about the flavor. Shirley never let me down. And I lime it and the beach on the tongue. Shirley biscuits always feel like home.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be. It's the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley, the Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
Good morning, Sinkers and Nevis, and welcome to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. It is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022, and it is just 7 minutes past the hour of 11 here in our studios. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we have on the program Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, the Medical Chief of Staff at the Joseph and France General Hospital. And today we are here to talk about, or Dr. Wilkinson is here to educate us on the monkeypox, which is a rare disease, of course, caused by the monkeypox virus. And he's here to explain what it is. And of course, we'll be taking some questions later on in the program from the listening public. For those inquiring minds, you're curious as to what this virus is, and if we get to that point, how to safeguard yourself from it. Good morning, Dr. Wilkinson, and thank you so much for joining me here on Voices to have this very important conversation.
Good morning, and it's my pleasure to be here, and I want to congratulate you and your radio station for reaching out to me to come and speak on such an important topic.
All right, thank you so much for that, Dr. Wilkinson. So yes, as I said earlier, we're here to talk about monkeypox and what it is all about. So, what is monkeypox?
Okay, well, monkeypox is considered a viral zoonosis. And what do I mean by that? It is a virus that is transmitted to humans from animals. So it is normally found in animals, but it is transmitted to humans from animals. And it has symptoms that are very similar to those seen in the past with smallpox. Many of us are too young to know about smallpox, and it tends to be clinically less severe. Now, it is caused by the monkeypox virus, which belongs to the same group of family where the smallpox virus comes from. And there are basically two types of monkeypox virus. And basically, it has to do with where they're found in Africa and the severity of the disease that they present with. We have the West African clade that is found mainly on the West African coast in countries like Benin, Cameroon, Gabon, Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone. And it's important for me to mention these countries because the world is so small now that we have persons coming here from these countries too. And we have the Central African clade that includes the Congo Basin and the Central African Republic and South Sudan. Now, human infections from the virus that is found in West Africa appears to cause less severe disease than that coming from the Congo Basin. So the West African variant has a mortality or fatality of about 3.6%, which means that if 100 persons got it, about 4 of them may die. And that from the Congo Basin has a mortality of about 10.6%, meaning that, again, if 100 persons got it, about 10 or 11 will die. Now, the name monkeypox originated because it was first discovered in monkeys in a Danish lab in 1958. And so it is not unique to monkeys in itself, in that just yesterday I was having a discussion and somebody was concerned about the number of monkeys we had, and they were wondering whether, with us speaking about monkeypox, whether it's safe for them to have a monkey sitting on their shoulder, etc. And so it has nothing to do with that. However, it can occur in a range of animals, mainly rodents that are found in West Africa, like the rope squirrel, the tree squirrel, and rats and dormice, and in non-human primates like monkeys and apes. But the first documented case in a human being was in 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Wow! So we know that monkeypox is not new; it's been around for some time. It's just that it is re-emerging.
Yes, I mean, it has been in animals for a long time.
Right.
I mean, we are finding some of these zoonoses are coming up because as we encroach on forests and become more in touch with animals that previously we not would have been in touch with, you can have these viruses jump into human beings.
Right. So we well, for me, I first started to hear about monkeypox about 2 or 3 weeks ago. At first, I think for the most part, people were not taking it as serious as we just thought that it was, a one-off thing, and but we're realizing that the cases of monkeypox, they're increasing. I think some cases have been confirmed in the UK. I stand to be corrected, in the UK, in Canada, and in the US as well. So, if you can, Dr. Wilkinson, where are these outbreaks occurring?
Yes, it's a very good question because since 1970, we have had sporadic cases occurring outside of Africa, but they were all linked to a history of travel, and it was contained. However, since the 13th of May this year, monkeypox have been reported to the World Health Organization in 12 member states, in countries that it was not normally endemic, which means that the virus was not normally found there. And interestingly enough, there was no history of travel to West Africa or Central Africa to say that they brought the virus back. And so this is what is puzzling the epidemiologists. And the interesting thing about these cases that are emerging, they are mainly, but not exclusively, being found in men who are having sex with men, who are seeking care at a health clinic dealing with sexually transmitted diseases. Now, the countries that have reported monkeypox, Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, the United Kingdom, and the United States. So since May 12th to the 21st of May, we've had 92 confirmed cases. And the countries with the most reported cases are Portugal, Spain, and the United Kingdom with about 21 to 30. So this is reason for concern, and that is why the World Health Organization is sounding the alarm.
Now, we're open to these countries where we can travel there, and these people can come here to St. Kitts and Nevis. Can we expect any cases here?
Well, the short answer is yes, because the World Health Organization themselves said that they expect more cases of monkeypox to emerge as we expand surveillance in non-endemic countries. And as you said, we are just a flight away from some of these countries where we have monkeypox. And just like when COVID-19 started and persons thought, oh, it was just over there in Wuhan, and you see the short space of time that it took before it arrived here. The good news is that monkeypox is not typically considered very contagious because it requires significant close contact with someone who is infectious for you to become infectious. And so right now we believe the risk to the general public is low. However, there is reason for concern, and it's important for us to raise the awareness. And I believe that if persons are aware that monkeypox exists and that it can come here, and we can provide information to persons as to how to contain the spread, then that is how we will control it. Because we know that with the COVID-19, there was a lot of irresponsible behavior by persons in not abiding by the simple non-pharmaceuticals to control it. And we don't want to be alarmist, but we are here to make sure that people are aware of this disease so that we don't have a similar situation arising.
I think programs like these are very important, and I encourage people to, follow the credible organizations to get the latest information on this. As Dr. Wilkinson has just said, it is possible that we can get cases here. We're only a flight away from these countries that are already experiencing outbreaks. So we definitely have to be careful and educate ourselves on this rare disease, on this monkeypox, to be on the safe side. Dr. Wilkinson, it is 16 minutes past the hour of 11. We'll take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll keep the conversation going. Let's take this quick break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop
www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. It is 18 minutes past the hour of 11. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we have on the panel with us Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, the Medical Chief of Staff at the Joseph and France General Hospital, and we are having a discussion on monkeypox, a rare disease that is caused by the infection, the monkeypox virus, that is. And, of course, this program is geared towards educating the general public on this disease. We've seen some cases in countries that are, let me say, close to St. Kitts and Nevis because it's just a flight away. So definitely we have to stay tuned and get the latest information as it relates to this disease. Now, Dr. Wilkinson, who is at risk? We have established the fact that there's a possibility that we can get cases here, and we now know where it all started. Who is at risk if we are to get cases?
Okay, it's a good question. So the current available data that we have suggests that it's persons who are in close physical contact with someone who has monkeypox. And I said the current available data because we saw, for example, how the information regarding COVID-19 that was fairly new evolved over time. And so I'm choosing my words correctly because sometimes when new data comes and the information is renewed, people might say that you were misinforming them, but you have to give them what the current information is.
Right.
And so if you are in close contact with someone who has monkeypox, specifically when they're symptomatic, that's when you can transmit the virus to someone. So the persons who are at risk really are persons who are household contacts and unfortunately healthcare workers, because we are the ones who will be in person's face if they had monkeypox. And it tends to be more severe in some individuals, specifically children, pregnant women, and persons who are immunocompromised. In other words, if somebody has cancer, if they have severe uncontrolled diabetes, or they were taking steroids, or if they were HIV positive. So persons who are immunocompromised, those are the persons. So basically, it's the more vulnerable among us who would be at greatest risk. And so that's why we need to make sure we protect them.
What does this mean for... And I think many people have this question, but what does this mean for, because you said basically close physical contact. What does this mean for social gatherings and events?
Well, it's interesting you asked that because some of these same precautions that we advocate for COVID-19, they will also help to protect with monkeypox. But we have said also, though, it comes down to personal responsibility. And very soon we're going to have persons coming here for music festival and a number of other things. And so you would need to know that with this virus out there, there's a risk that if you are in a mass gathering close to persons who are shouting, screaming, rubbing shoulders with them, etc., you can put yourself at risk.
Can a face mask help you? I just had to.
Yes, face mask can help because that's one of the things that we advocate for healthcare workers, that they use an N95 mask if they are looking after someone who has monkeypox, or if you have a family member in your home and you are living with them. Then if you hand sanitize, wear your face mask, etc., that will help to protect you because once we understand how it is transmitted, then you will know how to protect yourself.
Right. I had to ask because I know we have events coming up for June, July, which is Culturama, and we may have elections. So there's a lot happening, and we really have to be, cautious. What are the signs and symptoms of monkeypox?
Well, before I get to the signs and symptoms, I want to speak more about how it is transmitted.
Sure.
So that people can understand, because if you know how it is transmitted, you will know how to prevent yourself from even developing signs and symptoms. And so one can have animal to human transmission that happens, for example, in the Western African states and in Central Africa, where if someone comes into direct contact with an animal that's infected and they get contaminated either by the blood, the body fluids, or if they touch the sores on the infected animal, then they can get monkeypox there. Or if someone ate meat that was inadequately prepared, that was infected,
Right.
then you can catch monkeypox. And so for those of you who are traveling and you go to some exotic meal where you're eating one of those rodents, you need to make sure that you ask for it to be well done.
Well done.
As opposed to rare. You can also have now, as we were speaking about, human-to-human transmission, and this usually comes from close contact with someone who is infected and symptomatic. And so if you touch one of the lesions, if you get contaminated by the body fluids, you can get infected. And it can travel in respiratory droplets. And so you ask the question about mask, because if the person is speaking in your face, if you have a mask on, then that can protect you. Or if you touched a contaminated surface. And usually persons who are living in the same home with someone, if they sleep in the same bedding, etc., then that's when they can get infected. But the most persons in the healthcare field tend to get infected from respiratory particles, and so that's why it's so important for doctors to wear masks. And I believe even when we get out of this COVID-19 pandemic, you will see doctors and nurses continuing to wear masks.
Right.
The virus can also pass via the placenta from mother to child. So if the mother is infected, the child can be born with congenital monkeypox. Now, I mentioned earlier that of the 92 cases that were discovered so far in the non-endemic countries, that most of them were in men who were having sex with men. But it's important for us to note, though, that there is no evidence yet that it is transmitted sexually through semen or through the vaginal fluid. It is thought that it is because of the close contact. If someone is having sex where you would have contamination from skin lesions, that's how these persons would have gotten infected. And because this community, maybe they were seeking medical care, that's how they discovered that they had monkeypox. The other good news about monkeypox, though, is that the human-to-human transmission is limited so far, generally to 6 generations. And what I meant is the last person who got infected is usually about 6 links away from the original person. Whereas, with COVID-19, it just goes on and on exponentially.
Right.
And so it tends to die out as it...
But maybe that's good news.
So far.
Wow. And in terms of we know now, how it is transmitted, the possibility of it getting to St. Kitts and Nevis or in the Caribbean, let's just say that.
Yes.
What should one look out for, signs and symptoms?
Signs and symptoms, and this is very important. Well, first of all, we need to be aware of the fact that there is an incubation period, which means that there is a period when somebody can be infected before they show any symptoms at all. And this incubation period can be from 6 to 13 days, but it can be as long as 21 days. So somebody can be carrying the monkeypox virus for 3 weeks without knowing. The good news, though, is that they tend not to be infectious during the incubation period. So how would the virus now manifest itself? Usually, we have 2 phases. We have what's called the invasion phase that lasts about 5 days, and it's characterized by high fever. So the person will suddenly come down with fever. They will also have an intense headache. Some persons develop what's called lymphadenopathy, where they have these lymph nodes swollen in their neck or in their groin. The old people used to call those swellings in the groin canals.
Yes.
So you have a lot of these things swelling up all over. One may have back pain. And I just want to send a warning now. Back pain is pretty common. So if you have back pain tomorrow, don't run into my office saying that you think you have monkeypox. Okay. Some persons have intense muscle aches. And a lot of persons have a feeling of lack of energy or anesthesia. And then we have the skin eruption phase, and this is what we need to be aware of, because this is where most persons, even a lay person, will be able to pick it up. And this usually begins within about 1 to 3 days after the appearance of the fever. And the good thing about this is that these persons can be easily identifiable, because the rash tends to be on the face and on the extremities, in other words, the hands or the feet.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, in 95% of the cases, the rash is on the face And in 75% of the cases, it's on the hands and the soul. So if you have somebody coming to you, you should be able to see their face. If they put out their hand to shake your hand, you should be able to see these lesions, okay? And about 70% of the cases, the rash is around the mouth or the oral mucous membranes, and it can occur in the genitalia, the private parts, in about 30% of the cases. Unfortunately, it can also affect the conjunctiva, or the covering of the eye, and the cornea. Now, these rashes, when they appear, they have a sequential pattern. In other words, they move from one stage to another, and they start off first with what's called macules, where they're like some flat lesions that's on the skin, and then they turn to papules, or like little boils, and then they become filled with fluid, and that's called vesicles or clear fluid. And this can become infected, giving the person now pustules. So they have all these lot of little bumps on their skin that look like they're pus-filled. Eventually, these pustules burst, and they crust, and they drop off and fall off, and then they tend to heal. And these macules and papules, etc., they can be from a few to several thousand. So you can have somebody who is basically covered in these. In some persons where the disease is severe, you can have large sections of the skin being appearing with these papules, etc., and it can slough off, and so they can have significant fluid loss. Now, the disease, it's self-limiting in that once allowed, it runs its course, but it usually lasts about 2 to 4 weeks. And so still, if you have these severe rashes covering you for 2 to 4 weeks, that is significant. Now, the cases tend to be more severe among children, and it is related to the extent of the viral exposure, whether or not when they were infected they got a significant dose of the virus or not, their health status. So one who is not as robust and as strong as you, they will have more complications. And so the complications that can arise, because it's not just the rash itself, but you can have these pustules and so on being secondarily infected, so the person can develop a severe skin infection. The infection can spread to the lungs, giving them a bronchopneumonia. It can spread to the bloodstream, giving them sepsis. It can spread to the brain, giving them encephalitis. And some persons with the eye involvement, they can also develop blindness. And so that's why we have a fatality rate between 3 to 6%. Okay, depending on the type of virus that infects you.
Let's say that one is experiencing signs and symptoms of monkeypox. How do you know for a fact that this person has monkeypox? What is the process in terms of testing?
Yes, okay, that's a very good question. So once the World Health Organization has come up with definitions really to guide the physicians, and so I'm speaking to persons in the health field out there who are also listening. And so we can have, first of all, have a suspect case where if someone from a non-endemic area, where monkeypox is not normally present, they present with the rash that I spoke about, and also with the symptoms of the headache, the fever, the enlarged lymph nodes, muscle aches and pains and weakness, then they would be considered a suspect case. Now, there are a number of other conditions like measles, herpes, etc., that can cause a rash also, and it's going to be important for the physician to distinguish this rash from that of monkeypox. But once you have a suspect case, you would do testing now to confirm the diagnosis of monkeypox. And the test that is done is a PCR test, the real-time polymerase chain reaction, similar to the PCR test that's done for COVID-19. And the sample is usually taken from the skin, from one of the blisters, etc. And if not possible, one can even do a biopsy. There are a number of other tests that are available, but I would mention them here simply to discard them. For example, there is a blood test that's available, but it can be inconclusive because the virus doesn't stay in the blood for a long time. So you can have somebody being tested negative because you missed the time when the virus was in the blood. There are also antibody tests for this, but for persons who are 50 plus who would have been immunized against smallpox, these persons will test positive, so you will get a false positive. And so the gold standard really is the PCR test. And I just want to back up here, Devon, just to mention just briefly about smallpox, because smallpox was something that even when I went to medical school 30 years ago, I didn't learn anything about, because it was basically eradicated. Okay, but we said monkeypox can resemble smallpox, but it's not as severe. Smallpox had a higher fatality rate of about 30%. And we know that the last naturally occurring case of smallpox was in 1977, and it was eliminated from the world globally through vaccination in 1980. And this speaks to the importance of vaccines, because even at the heart of COVID, we still had a big fight as it relates to the vaccine. However, smallpox can still re-emerge naturally, because the virus is still kept in labs, and so we can have lab accidents, or it can be intentionally or deliberately released, because, we're entering this stage now where wars are fought differently, and so you can have biological warfare, etc. So we still need to be vigilant and remember that even diseases that were eliminated, they can still reemerge.
As we are still in COVID-19, what happens to you? What happens to someone if they have been diagnosed with COVID and now monkeypox? Yeah.
Well, the important thing is that the measures that are used to control COVID-19 are the same measures that you can use to prevent yourself from getting monkeypox. And so if you social distance, if you hand sanitize, you clean down surfaces that can potentially be contaminated, and wear a mask, you can protect yourself. Yes, but one can develop monkeypox if it comes here. The good news for some persons, the persons who are like probably 60 plus in our community, they would have been vaccinated against smallpox. And the smallpox vaccine gives you about 85% protection against monkeypox. And so those persons should be safe. And you usually can tell if you were vaccinated against smallpox by looking at your shoulder. It has a specific scar, from the smallpox. You would not have it at all. I think that you're younger than me, and I did not receive the smallpox vaccines.
Dr. Wilkinson, it's 11:35. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. We'll take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Make it Mother's Day every day at the TDC Home and Building Depot. For the woman who does it all, we're offering up to 35% in savings all month long. Still not sure what to get? Gift your mom a TDC gift card and let her purchase her heart's desires. Celebrate the woman who means so much to you and shop at the TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Feel the magic happening. Campari. Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. It's 11:38. Of course, we break at 12 for the headline news. For those of you who are just tuning in, whether it be via the FM channel or via social media, thank you so much for joining today's edition of Voices. On the panel with me today is Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, and we are having a conversation on monkeypox. Of course, many of you have heard of monkeypox by now, and so today's program basically is aimed at educating the general public on monkeypox and what you need to know. Dr. Wilkinson, what treatment is available for monkeypox?
Yes, so if someone is infected and symptomatic with monkeypox, the treatment is directed towards alleviating the symptoms, making sure that you manage any complications and prevent any long-term complications. And so the treatment basically is very simple. Number one, you need to make sure that the person stays hydrated, because with all these skin lesions, you can lose fluid. And so these persons may need to have an IV or make sure that they're drinking well.
Right.
Need to make sure that their nutritional status is up so that they can fight off this infection. So they will boost their immune system the same way we spoke about COVID-19, make sure that they're eating healthy to maintain their nutritional status. And if there's any bacterial infection, you will treat these, because these open skin lesions, they can become secondarily infected with bacteria. There is also something that's called vaccinia immune globulin, which are basically antibodies from persons who previously were infected that you can inject into persons with severe cases to try to control them. And we saw the immune globulins being used with COVID-19. I believe that the past President Trump had some of that. And there is also an antiviral agent that's called tecovirimat that can be used, and it's actually licensed by the European Medical Association, and so persons can be treated with this drug. Of course, it is not widely available as yet, because this was not a disease that we heard about prior to a few weeks ago, you know. But it's important to know that these drugs are out there, and so for countries where the virus is emerging, they're starting to use this drug.
You know, earlier we spoke about how the virus can be transmitted and some of the precautions that we can take to prevent the transmission of monkeypox. And those measures are quite similar to that of COVID-19. Should we have an outbreak of monkeypox in the Caribbean, specifically right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, is a lockdown on the list, or will a lockdown be considered to slow down the transmission of monkeypox?
No. Well, number one, I have always said a lockdown is considered the nuclear option,
right?
And that is not something that you would run to immediately. But it's important first to define an outbreak or an epidemic.
Yes.
Because in a country where the virus is not endemic, just having one case is an outbreak. One case will be an epidemic. And so if we have one case in St. Kitts and Nevis, that will be considered an outbreak. And I don't believe that that would be sufficient enough for us to determine that we are going to lock down the country because of that. Also, because it is not as highly infectious as COVID-19, and because persons tend not to be infectious or transmit the virus when they're asymptomatic, then you will not have people walking around unknowingly infecting persons. But if you see a guy this afternoon with bumps all over his face and on his hands, etc., I think you should stay far from him.
Is there a vaccine for monkeypox?
Yes, well, whenever persons ask about vaccines now, I always have to hesitate and give the long answer, okay? And so I'm going to start off by saying first that there is little immunity, or most persons in any community have little fighting resistance against monkeypox, because it is not endemic here and they would not have been exposed to it. We know that there is cross immunity from the smallpox vaccination, and monkeypox. And so the persons among us, they are older persons who would have been vaccinated against smallpox. They actually are in good shape because this will give them an 85% protection against monkeypox. As a matter of fact, it is even advisable in the health institutions where they're looking after persons with monkeypox to let the older nurses who would have been vaccinated or the older doctors look after the persons as compared to those who have not been vaccinated. And because there was always a threat or potential threat of smallpox, investigations have been ongoing and persons have been trying to develop vaccines against smallpox. And so with monkeypox emerging, there is actually a vaccine that came out in 2019 that is significantly effective in helping to prevent monkeypox, and is given in 2 doses. And so if there is an outbreak, I'm sure that the scientists will be able to step up production to protect persons against monkeypox. And so the news is not that bad. It's not like COVID-19 where it appeared and then we had to be trying to find a vaccine. We have things that can be used to control that.
Right. I'm not sure if you touched on this earlier, but for those who received the because there's a question coming in here, for those who received the smallpox vaccine, are they immune?
They have an 85% protection, yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So if they were to get monkeypox, chances are they would not be symptomatic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dr. Wilkinson, it is 11:44. We have about 15, 16 minutes left before we end the program at 12. We'll open the phone lines now to take some calls so that people can call, and I assume the phone lines are ringing earlier, so I assume there's some persons waiting. But you can call us at 466-0989, and we have our first call for this morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Wilkerson, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I want to kind of keep your head up high. Thank you for coming on the air to tell us about this monkeypox. Is it a deadly virus? I will listen out there.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Wilkinson.
Yes, okay. Well, the fatality from it is pretty low, between 3 to 6%. And so if you have 100 persons coming down with monkeypox, 95 of them should be fine. And once you treat it early and address the complications or prevent the complications like sepsis and encephalitis from occurring, once you give them proper antibiotics, they should survive.
All right. We're still taking your calls here on Voices for today. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. It's Wednesday, May 25th, 2022, and we're heading back to the phone lines. Let's hit this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Dr. Wilkerson.
Wait, caller, before you continue, please turn off the radio. There's a lot of feedback.
No, this nice from in the street.
Hello?
Should person be warned from eating tree mutton?
Tree mutton. I assume tree mutton is monkey.
Yeah, monkey. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, the monkeypox virus is not endemic to St. Kitts, and so the monkeys here are not carrying the virus. And so I don't think there is any risk in eating the monkeys here. But if you're going to, you need to make sure that you cook the meat properly, because even in countries where it is endemic, once the meat is cooked properly, if the animal was infected before, the risk of you getting it through food is lessened if the meat is cooked properly. So don't be eating any rare tree mutton.
Okay, thank you.
Unless you Devon had no idea what you meant when you said tree mutton.
It's a common term for monkeys.
Yeah, I realize. All right, thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. It's 11:47, and we are still taking your calls here on Voices. For those of you who are just tuning in, we have on the panel Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, and we are having a discussion on the monkeypox virus, monkeypox. A very good conversation we had this morning, Dr. Wilkinson, and I think for the most part, people are very grateful for the information flowing. Of course, programs like these very important, and with this this, monkeypox, we're seeing cases of it emerging in countries that are, let me just say, right at our doorsteps. We really have to be mindful and have to be careful.
And while we're waiting for
sure.
another call, I just want to congratulate your station again, because the most important thing is raising awareness and educating persons. And so the same way we got out early, educating persons about COVID-19, I think is important. And I believe your station is the first to have a talk on monkeypox.
Yes.
Yeah,
all right, thank you. We have another caller on the line. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. That's a silly question. Monkeypox and chickenpox are the same?
Well, first of all, there is no silly question at all, okay? And so I'm glad that you asked. No, chickenpox is a pox virus, and so it's from the same family, but it's completely different, though, okay? Yes.
I know with chickenpox, when I look at the pictures for monkeypox, I wouldn't say it was the same, but there were some similarities in terms of the
yes, they will be similar, because don't forget, with the monkeypox, it goes through all the different types of presentations. So it starts with macules, papules, vesicles, pustules. Chickenpox, for example, might have vesicles, and so you will see something that would represent most of the different pox viruses.
Mm-hmm. All right. It is 11:49. We are still taking your calls here on Voices for today. The numbers are 466-0989 or 762-0989. Call us and pose your question. We have another caller on the line. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. To Dr. Wilkinson, a question. It has been said when someone contracts these pox, it is not likely that they will have it again. Is there any truth to that they develop antibodies that would prevent them from contracting it for a second time? Thank you. I'll listen off here.
Okay, so that's a very good question. And so a lot of these pox viruses, once you caught it once, you tend to have lifelong immunity. But some of them can present differently. For example, chickenpox, you will not get chickenpox again, but you can get shingles.
Yes.
Okay, and so we have to be aware of that.
All right. Dr. Wilkinson, we'll take a break to give a shout out to the sponsors. When we come back, we'll take some more calls, and we'll end this program at 12 noon for the headline news. Let's take this break. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be. It's the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley got it all about the flavor. Shirley never let me down. When I lime it at the beach on the town, Shirley biscuits always feel like home.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be. It's the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley, the Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
All right, let's head back to the phone lines. Okay, we had some callers, so let's wait for them to get back in at 466-0989 or 762-0989. It's 11:52, and you're tuned into Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. We have on the program Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, and we are having a discussion on monkeypox. Let's head back to the phone line. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, Devon, over here, Miss Mr. Cornelius. Yeah. I'm morning to the doctor there. Well, I don't eat so much of them. I never get sick, Devon.
Eat what?
They say they want to say that if I take a monkey, will cause that.
No,
They said
no,
that's
no.
overseas St. John's. Oh.
All right.
So how we get it? How we come? How we'll get it to you?
No, what?
Translate it from where to where.
Yeah, what we're saying is that just because it is called monkeypox, it doesn't mean that it is only found in monkeys or that all monkeys are dangerous. It was called monkeypox because it was first discovered in the monkey in a Danish lab. Okay, and it's not endemic to Singis. In other words, the virus is not here. So you ask, how will it get here? Because we have frequent travel between some of the countries that it's occurring in. And so that's why we need to educate ourselves. So if it gets here, we stop it from spreading.
All right.
Amount of rush I hear in China. Where all the rush coming from? That's really so high. Rush here, rush there, and rush every day. I will be taking a trick of election coming and they want to close down the country again, you know.
All right, well, caller, thank you for your question. I think she was talking about the rash.
Oh, the rash, yes.
Yeah.
But I already said to that with monkeypox, there will be no reason for any lockdown, and so that is quite clear. And even as it relates to contact tracing, if someone is named as a contact, they will need to be monitored for a period of 21 days. But if the person is asymptomatic, they do not have to be isolated because during the asymptomatic period, they're not infectious. And so you can still continue going about your normal business. But if you develop the rash, that's when you'll have to be isolated.
All right, we have another caller on the line. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 7620989. 466-0989. You're tuned into WINNFM 98.9, and this is Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we have on the panel Dr. Cameron Wilkinson. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Devon and Dr. Wilkerson. Happy African Liberation Day.
Good morning, my old neighbor from Navy Street.
Yeah, man.
And also the village, yes.
He want to say so in school, you know.
An old teacher, yes. I didn't want to age you, because if I said teacher, people might think you're an older lady, so I was trying to keep it young.
God is good, man. God is good. You are an evidence that God is good. Now, if you had smallpox, can you still get monkeypox?
If you have had smallpox, you are significantly protected, okay? More than 85% if you had smallpox. And if you were vaccinated against smallpox, the protection is about 85%, yes.
Because I was thinking the same thing. Another thing, though. I heard somebody, I think it was on the station, was talking about females can have it, the manifestation. And what about the use of condoms?
Well, because it is not thought to be sexually transmitted, using a condom will not protect you. The reason why it is linked to sex, because it can occur on the genitalia, it can also occur on the mouth, etc. So I assume if anyone is involved in sexual activity, there will be close contact with those areas, and so that is how they will get it. But just putting on a condom is not going to protect you, because if you have the rash down by the vagina or by the pubic area, or if the person has a rash on their lips and they're kissing, then they can get the virus.
That's very, very interesting. Oh, so can you do self-treatment? They come up and they dry out. Would you still need a vaccine?
Once you recover, you will not need a vaccine. And don't forget, we are not saying that there's going to be any widespread vaccination against monkeypox unless it becomes a significant problem, okay? But most persons who recover, they have lifelong immunity, and so they may not need to be vaccinated.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyway, I hear Corona adding up again.
Yes, and we need to keep our eyes on that. The numbers are beginning to rise again, but we say that it comes down to personal responsibility, and people need to manage themselves. There are a lot of places that I would like to go that I choose not to go. When I go to the gym every day, I'm the only person there sometimes in a mask, but I continue to wear it because I believe in leading by example.
Yes. All right, Dr. Wilkinson, we have about 3 minutes left before we close off the program for today. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with the general public as it relates to monkeypox or even COVID?
Well, I just want to say in general that knowledge is power. And that is why I'm here to share. When I started medical school over 30 years ago, there was nothing about HIV on the syllabus because that was not around at the time. There was nothing about chikungunya or COVID-19 or Zika or monkeypox. You know, as a matter of fact, if you were to ask me something about monkeypox 4 weeks ago, I would not know anything about monkeypox. But one has to continue to educate themselves, and it's also important for you to spread the information. And when I come to the mic to speak on a medical topic, I have no ulterior motive other than to educate the public. And so I just want persons to understand that. And I think it was a good session, Devon. It was nice being here, and I'm sure that there are persons out there who are aware of what's happening. And with the open borders that we have, people will be aware now that this exists, and it can be here tomorrow.
You know, as I said earlier, with events coming up very shortly in June, Culturama in July, and other activities, the possibility is there. So really and truly, people really have to safeguard themselves and have to. I encourage you to stay tuned to local media and stay tuned to the World Health Organization and the Pan American Health Organization for frequent updates on the monkeypox virus. Don't be ignorant to it. Don't say, well, it's in Canada or Spain or whatever, it can't get here. When I think about this monkeypox virus, Dr. Wilkinson, I'm thinking about COVID, because when COVID first started, I first heard about COVID in late December 2019. And I was like, that's in China, ain't gonna get here. And look at where we are today.
You know, it's interesting you said, because when I first heard about it also, I gave a lecture on it in early January the following year, and a number of persons were asking me, why are you doing this lecture? And I said it might reach here and see where we are. And so last thing I want to do is to thank Miss Weeks. I'm sure you probably know she was here because she initially reached out to me asking me to come and give this lecture, and so the public has to thank her also.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for accepting the invitation. This has been another edition, the first hour, of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. For those of you who just logged in, we had Dr. Cameron Wilkinson on air here in the studio, and this program was aimed at educating the general public on monkeypox. Stay tuned for the headline news, and when I come back, we'll keep the voices going for today. Until next time, you guys stay safe. I'll be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch? your home mortgage? Our in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
I am Devon Cornelius.
And I am Yulana Weeks.
Making the headlines.
The Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris shares his proudest achievement as a Prime Minister. The St. Kitts and Nevis COVID-19 situation report as at Wednesday, May 25, shows continued increase in active coronavirus cases.
Former BVI Premier Andrew Foy could likely be released from a federal detention facility in Miami on a $1 million bond after efforts to stop his release were made by prosecutors. Internationally, 19 young children and 2 adults have died in a shooting at the Robb Elementary School in South Texas. Now, the details.
The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, says his proudest achievement in his 7-year tenure as Prime Minister is seeing a more peaceful and safer federation. Harris made this disclosure on Tuesday night, May 25, during The Point with host Mr. Nourish Nital.
My proudest moment has been really delivering things that I know the people really need. And there are so many of them. I feel a sense of satisfaction when I see the change, almost revolutionary change in the peace and quiet in St. Kitts and Nevis. This every night where people couldn't walk the streets, shooting by our churches, by our business places on the street, that is all gone.
Even at the hospital?
Even at the hospital. That has been a significant transformation that has come, not by magic, but by hard work, by being innovative in creating new programs, like the Alternative Lifestyle Program, building newness, a new consciousness and confidence in our people, recognizing that our people, having been failed by the agents of socialization, be it the home, our schools, and our society, needed a new opportunity to reassert themselves and achieve their God-given potential. I am pleased about the transformation in law and order over the last 7 years.
The Alternative Lifestyle Pathway Program, commonly referred to as the PEACE Program, was launched on May 13, 2019, and focuses on the at-risk, marginalized, disenfranchised and traumatized in society. In this regard, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force have assigned personnel who are readily available to assist with conflict or feud as they emerge or develop among participants on the program. In an excerpt from the March 1 edition of Leadership Matters, produced by Prime Minister Harris, coordinator of the Alternative Lifestyle Pathway Program, Major Coyote Sutton, said the Alternative Lifestyle Pathway Program is an intervention strategy designed to allow the individuals an opportunity to learn, adopt, and display acceptable behaviors and become positive contributors to the development of the nation. He disclosed that the program has received the full support of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Health officials in St. Kitts and Nevis continue to monitor the COVID-19 case count after observing a spike in cases. There are currently 73 active cases in the Federation, 31 on St. Kitts and 42 on Nevis. This now brings the total confirmed cases in the Federation to 5,697. Health officials continue to emphasize the importance of the non-pharmaceutical measures such as the wearing of face masks, hand washing, and hand sanitizing. In addition, individuals are being encouraged to vaccinate against COVID-19. The vaccination rate is slowly increasing. 78.3% of adults are fully vaccinated. 83.4% have received a first dose of either the BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine or AstraZeneca, and 10.2% of adults have been boosted. As it relates to children between the ages of 12 and 17, 19.7% have received a first dose and 18% are fully vaccinated. However, no approval has been given for those children to be boosted. A total of 26,719 persons are fully vaccinated.
In regional news, former BVI Premier Andrew Foy could likely be released from a federal detention facility in Miami on a $1 million bond after efforts to stop his release were made by prosecutors. The Virgin Islands Consortium has the details.
Andrew Foy will be able to bond out of the federal detention facility in Miami, where he has been held since his arrest in late April on drug and money laundering charges. A hearing on the matter on Monday resulted in Judge Kathleen Williams deciding that with some modifications, the bail conditions designed by Magistrate Judge Alicia Otazu-Rez were sufficient to provide reasonable assurance that Foy would appear in court for trial. The $500,000 personal security bond that must be co-signed by Foy, his daughter, and a friend will remain. The court also ordered a matching $500,000 corporate security bond along with a nebia, a bail sufficiency hearing in which Foy must prove that the money or collateral backing the bond comes from legitimate sources. If released from detention, Foy will be placed on house arrest complete with 24/7 electronic monitoring. Attorney visits will have to take place on site. He will not be allowed to leave the residence to meet with Teresa Van Vliet, who today filed papers notifying the court that she had been permanently retained on Foy's behalf. Apart from the two bonds, the house arrest and the electronic monitoring, Foy will also be required to sign an extradition waiver that is applicable worldwide, thus eliminating any safe havens that might have existed if he were to decide to flee prosecution. Once the funds are arranged and the nebula scheduled and heard, Foy is likely to be freed to await trial, unless government prosecutors decide to continue the appeals process by asking the 11th Circuit Court to review the decision to grant bond.
We now bring you these international reports.
President Biden has issued an emotional appeal for backbone and courage to confront America's gun lobby after a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Texas. The shooting at the Robb Elementary School in the city of Uvalde is the deadliest shooting at a U.S. elementary school since 20 children and 6 adults were killed at Sandy Hook School in Connecticut a decade ago. The teenage gunman, Salvador Ramos, was shot dead by police at the scene. The family of Xavier Lopez have confirmed that he died in the school. He was 10 years old. His cousin told American news outlets that Xavier's mum had attended his awards ceremony just hours before shooting. And another victim of the gunman, Uzziah Garcia, was 9 and would have turned 10 this summer. His aunt, Nikki Cross, confirmed his death and shared his photo. The father of 10-year-old Amory Joe Garza confirmed that his daughter was one of the pupils killed as she attended school yesterday. And teacher Eva Mireles also died. She'd been a teacher for 17 years, according to her profile at the Robb Elementary School. Here's our North America correspondent, David Willis.
In the final week of the summer term, a student at a suburban elementary school, wielding weapons he bought on his birthday, barricaded himself inside the building and went classroom to classroom on a killing spree.
My heart was broken today. We're a small community, and we'll need your prayers to get us through this. Thank you.
18-year-old Salvador Ramos was himself shot dead by law enforcement officers, but not before he'd inflicted the deadliest shooting of its kind since the Sandy Hook massacre nearly a decade ago.
Let me assure you, the intruder is deceased, and we are not actively looking for another individual or any other suspects in this case. We definitely ask you all to keep the families that are involved in your prayers.
With flags lowered to half-mast at the White House and other public buildings as a mark of respect for the victims, President Biden declared himself sick and tired of the carnage caused by gun violence and called out one of the country's most powerful lobby groups.
As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done?
As word of the massacre spread, a senator representing the state in which the Sandy Hook massacre took place pleaded with his colleagues for tighter gun controls.
But I'm here on this floor to beg, to literally get down on my hands and knees and beg my colleagues. Find a path forward here. Work with us to find a way to pass laws that make this less likely.
Yet despite enjoying bipartisan support at the time, a bill that would have tightened America's gun laws in the wake of the Sandy Hook massacre failed to garner the votes it needed to pass into law. And there remain those who bitterly oppose any legislation that could compromise Americans' constitutional right to bear arms.
You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. That doesn't work. It's not effective. It doesn't prevent crime. We know what does prevent crime, which is going after felons and fugitives and those with serious mental illness.
The motive for this latest rampage still isn't known. Meanwhile, the National Rifle Association is due to hold its annual meeting in Texas this coming weekend. David Willis, BBC News.
Well, as you heard in that film, President Joe Biden said it was time to stand up to America's gun lobby. His words drew on his own experience of grief. The president lost his first wife and young daughter in a car accident in 1972 and a son to cancer in 2015.
Another massacre, Uvalde, Texas, an elementary school. Beautiful, innocent, second, third, fourth graders. And how many scores of little children who witness what happened see their friends die as if they're on a battlefield, for God's sake. To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away. There's a hollowness in your chest. You feel like you're being sucked into it and never going to be able to get out. Suffocating. It's never quite the same. It's a feeling shared by the siblings and the grandparents and the family members and the community that's left behind. I am sick and tired of it. We have to act. And don't tell me we can't have an impact on this carnage. The idea that an 18-year-old kid can walk into a gun store and buy 2 assault weapons. It's just wrong. What in God's name do you need an assault weapon for except to kill someone? These kinds of mass shootings rarely happen anywhere else in the world. Why? They have mental health problems. They have domestic disputes in other countries. They have people who are lost. But these kinds of mass shootings never happen with the kind of frequency they happen in America. Why? Why are we willing to live with this carnage? Why do we keep letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone to have the courage to deal with it and stand up to the lobbies? It's time to turn this pain into action for every parent, for every citizen in this country. We have to make it clear to every elected official in this country, it's time to act. It's time for those who obstruct or delay or block the common sense gun laws. We need to let you know that we will not forget. We can do so much more. We have to do more.
That was President Biden speaking. Our North America editor, Sarah Smith, is in Uvalde.
This is the community centre in Uvalde where parents had to come to find out whether their children had been injured and taken to hospital or received the devastating news that they'd been killed. The young victims were all between 7 and 10 years old, and 2 of their teachers were shot as well. It is a profoundly shocking tragedy that at the same time is depressingly familiar in America. The gunman was an 18-year-old local high school student who's believed to have shot his grandmother before he then went to the school to attack it with a handgun and a semi-automatic rifle. In an emotional address from the White House, President Biden said he was sick and tired of these repeated mass shootings in America and that it was time to find the courage to change gun laws. But Democrats here have been trying and failing to do that for years. And in their response to this tragic shooting here in Texas, Republicans don't seem to be showing any signs at all of changing their opposition to making it harder for people to get hold of guns. They say it's not the guns that are the problem, you have to tackle the criminals and the felons. And the Attorney General here in Texas has even suggested that it would be arming teachers would be a better idea to try and prevent school shootings, making sure that teachers in the classroom had guns. So it seems very unlikely that there will be any major change in the law here or any agreement over gun control as a result of this shooting here.
Israel's killing of Al Jazeera's Shireen Abu Akleh in the occupied West Bank prompted Ireland to call this meeting on the protection of journalists.
At the time of her killing, Shireen was on duty in a blue press vest, a symbol which denotes civilian status, a symbol that demonstrates to parties to conflict that journalists are not a target.
The targeting of journalists in conflict zones is considered a war crime. The Committee to Protect Journalists said no less than 18 have been killed in the Palestinian territories in the last 20 years. In Ukraine, 9 journalists have died in the war with Russia. But as the experts made clear, 9 out of 10 such crimes are never prosecuted.
The failure of states to investigate, prosecute, and punish crimes against journalists is not only a denial of justice, it is actually an encouragement to perpetuate the cycle of violence.
Al Jazeera's Abdurrahim Fukara promised to pursue all legal options for accountability.
Al Jazeera's position is crystal clear. Shireen Abu Akleh's life matters, and so does a transparent and independent investigation of her killing and of the serious violation of her funeral by the Israeli security forces. There are other crystal clear issues for Al Jazeera network. 1, Shireen Abu Akleh was killed by an Israeli bullet and in cold blood while she was doing her job. 2, the network has the evidence and the witnesses to support that position.
Other media networks have made the same conclusion. The UN Security Council has condemned the killing of Shireen Abu Akleh and called for a transparent, impartial investigation. But they haven't supported the Palestinian Authority's call for an investigation by the International Criminal Court, essentially leaving accountability in Israel's hands. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.
You were listening to the WINNFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were:
the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris shares his proudest achievement as a Prime Minister. The St. Kitts and Nevis COVID-19 situation report as at Wednesday, May 25, shows continued increase in active coronavirus cases.
Former BVI Premier Andrew Foy could likely be released from a federal detention facility in Miami on a $1 million bond after efforts to stop his release were made by prosecutors. Internationally, 19 young children and 2 adults have died in a shooting at the Robb Elementary School in South Texas. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Found the sound 98.9 Win FM.
Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tag Specials from May 19th through June 1st. Nabisco Oreo Cookies, $19.99. Tropicana Berry Punch, $7.99. Breyers Premium Ice Cream, $22.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $8.99. Essential Everyday Fries, $10.99. Essential Everyday Dry Roasted Peanuts, just $10.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Special K cereal, $13.99. Extra liquid detergent, $12.99. Lay's Stack Chips, $5.99. Palmolive Dish Liquid, $9.99. Lady Speed Stick Deodorant, $9.99. All Orchard Apple Cocktails, $7.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Ahora en español.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022, and you are logged into WINNFM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me on the program today. For those of you who are just joining the program, for the first hour we had Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, and the discussion was centered around monkeypox. And so that program was aimed towards educating the general public on monkeypox and, all that you need to know. I'm coming back to continue the second hour, and it is more so of an open ear, giving you the opportunity to call and raise a topic of concern that you would want to share with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So we'll take our first call for this afternoon. Let's head to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. And how are you?
I'm good, thanks. What about you?
Okay, I'm good. I just need to clear up some stuff here, you see?
Sure.
Because a lot of people, especially people like Sylvie and Henry, I need to clear up some stuff. I know she cannot see too well. I wish she could be able to see. So I would have let us see the video with the pastor Ben Brown is greeting us. I don't know if you have the video, but if you don't, I can send the video to you. Where Pastor Ben Brown greet us very respectfully. And on top of that, let somebody show me a video where my behavior when the police came to tell us move was like Lindsey Grant up at the last lap. Sylvie and them don't want to touch that. Look at the video when the police came and tell us to move. Did we wrap up the police? Did we disrespect the police? So I'm calling on the commissioner of police because he made a statement to retract it. Because you see, when Lindsey Grant wrapped up and the police was asking for backup, he ain't send no backup. He ain't said nothing. It took him weeks before he speak. But he could come a day later, the same day, to say, we stoop law. Well, Mr. Commissioner of Police, can you retract and do another statement or have an interview with us? Because I mustn't get away and feel because I am on the top. Or I could disrespect the ordinary citizen. Because we didn't disrespect the police, and the evidence is there, you could ask the officer in charge or whoever. Not one of us disrespect the police like Lindsey Grant. That's the reason why the moral of the police force is so low. Because some people look at that, Timothy got them in the pocket. So Commissioner of Police, I hope you're listening, that you need to come back with your statement. Because nowhere in we protest. We disrespect the church, we disrespect the police, but Lindsey Grant rat up your police. And you had nothing, absolutely nothing to say. So Mr. Brandy, I'm calling on you to make a statement. Because we need a statement from you. Because I find your statement was very disrespectful and dishonest. Have a good day, my brother.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. You're tuned in to WINNFM 98.9, and this is another edition of Voices. Thank you so much for joining me on the program today. It is 12:37. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. A lot has happened over the past few days, and so I'm giving you the opportunity to call in and comment or pose your questions or bring to the fore something that you want to share with the general public. Let's head back to the phone lines. We have some callers. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon. I hope you had a good lunch. Good afternoon. Yes, I watched they watched the video on Curtis and they never do nothing before they putting it, blowing it out of proportion. I'm watching nothing was going on. I don't know where all these gay people and these people that are going. Because when they call Wolf, they just go right back in the bosom. The people must be cool leaning up on the wall. No? And you know, there should have been more people so tell when they go and call me. Because you have to skip from church to church and doing so much wickedness in behind. I heard a meeting last week, talking point, and where he ain't about them and where he no want to. Same people them who help him in power. We had me all now saying got water walk going on College Street got a Thursday. And the people them be crying to him. I drop asleep. So I didn't hear about people say, somebody was telling me, if you hear his name, you give them, Lord help us. Even the people may do nothing, let me tell you, Mr. Cornelius. But what you do? What you do for these 7 years in India? What you want to you do? No investors in here. People still a ball up and on, they want to walk. What you do, sir? Boy, what you do? Putting us on the blacklist. This passport being selling on no investors coming here, no? Is the American luxury we are who got the handle for that? Are we gone in again, you know? Sanctioning are we, you know?
All right.
Stand are we, you? I don't know what happened with these people when they get power and they overpower in the poorer people. All in a sudden we want to put in Wokutam, Wokudik. The house will begin again. But when a friend of mine, a taxi friend of mine, tell him she wants your house roof done. Oh, he will have on that too so long. But now they begin to do another friend, you know, getting she house roof doing soon. Because she got 7 of them living in a house. So you count that and she make 8. He must stop going on the mind people, so. When war to him that, I war to him 2015. And, you know what he did me? 2020. I spoke out about the Malbar. I don't never know what was going on because nobody did come and keep a meeting with us at the terminal. He sent a bodyguard up here to me, right? And last year now, and he tell me, I explained to the bodyguard, I get the bodyguard my number. And he dealt with me, right? With Mr. Maynard and so on, it's secretary for Mr. Maynard. He told me come this dumb social. The Monday and he dealt with me.
All right.
And I can't believe it last year. They ain't give me nothing when they share out the lockdown money again, but they give bad man them all. Because bad man, I would just deal with bad man. And I gone.
All right, caller. Thank you for your call on this program. We're still taking your calls right here on Voices on 1FM 98.9. The phone lines are open. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at WINNMedia SKN, so check out our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Let's head back to the phone lines. We have some more callers. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon, man. Good afternoon, Devon. Hope you had your lunch, you know.
Yes.
And protect yourself from the corona. You know, like God is good because people will talk. Oh, they want to put on masks, now we start to spread again. But there might be some people, you know, when they don't listen to God, everybody's alarmed to themselves. Now, I guess you heard about this massacre, I call it massacre in Texas?
I did, yes, I did.
Well, you know, I think we just thinking a bit far from it. Sometimes that's everything. Just like we think about the corona, it's over there.
Mm-hmm.
We have too many angry people. Too many angry people. And the thing what bothers me is that the people who they take out the anger on have nothing to do with them or to them. Every day we fuss and we cuss and we carry on angrily. One morning the devil give them an idea. It's like people who do suicide bombers, they don't go for the person who they think they're trouble. Innocent people, I can imagine the horror of parents, some 7 to 10-year-old children. I mean, the young man, 18 years, you know. That's what they call the beginning of adulthood, right? 18 years, the other day, the one in the supermarket with another 18-year-old. When they listen to some of the older ones spewing anger and hatred, they think that's a norm. So my prayers are with the people. Now, let me get to the thing with the church now. It is an offense to distract and to disturb religious services. That is a law. who don't know find out. It is a law because you see, our church is down in Salpan Alley, in the middle of Irish Town. And there have been cases where we have had to call police. Sometimes you're trying to sing the praises to God and the ganja, well, not now, since the peace, right? They're choking you with the ganja. Now, they would think that they're not doing anything, they ain't disturbing nobody, but you can't even, you can't breathe. So it doesn't mean you got to make noise. It was distracting. And they know that the church is there. They know that the Prime Minister has been going to church from ever since. The question then becomes, why now and why is that church? And then to say that the pastor's son was dismissed by TDC, but he was not outside with them in a placard. What, did he walk off the stage when the Prime Minister came in? I'm not defending the Prime Minister, but what I say, 'cause I have been analyzing it, it was a political strategy to try and attract the people in Cayon to the cause. To let nobody fool you, you know. It was a strategy to try and get sympathy from the people of Cayon. I mean, every Sunday, there's a man in the church. Every Sunday. Well, why you didn't? I even heard that when he was at the Moravian, I think the week before, one of his supporters had a sign outside, they saying vote PLP. That would have been a good thing to go and pick it up, what do you want to call it? But to go and pick and pass around church. I mean, it is political. That means I expect them next week. Wouldn't you expect them, Mr. Cornelius, next week to go by the next church?
Well, when I listened to the interview, they did say that should this continue, they will continue to protest it. So I don't know which church they'll be going to, but they did say that this is something that they intend to continue to protest.
So why did they start so late?
I don't know.
I mean, you know, you can fool some people. Now, let me take my last turn. This one here about Nevis. I don't know how you felt about. Do you want me to call back? Anybody call in?
No, go ahead, quickly.
All right. Now, last Saturday, I listened to Larry Vaughan. Larry Vaughan has no respect for Nevis people. Absolutely no respect. As far as he's concerned, oh, well, Nevis, they should be wasting money with this double. I mean, he's ignorant. If he understood the history of Nevis, he would have appreciated why Nevis has an added administration. There is the self-determination, the need for self-determination by all people, Nevisians and Anguillians and Kittitians. He would have known that Nevis did not ask to go and join to St. Kitts. Nevis had his own government, running his own affairs. It was the British who pushed them into it. So to say, oh, well, it's a waste of time, waste of money, double this and double that. And they have no share. What share? What is fair share? I mean, he had the gall to say that. What is fair share? So Nevis has no fair share, but St. Kitts have all. So all they have to do, put the two islands as one, and you give them something. Nevis is like down in Sandy Point. Disrespectful. Didn't you think so?
But when I listened to Mr. Vaughan, I was right here. And hold on. I listened to Mr. Vaughan. I was right here, and I don't think he was being disrespectful to Nevisians or Kittitians. So I think it is unfair. No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it's unfair to even suggest that, because he did not just come and say, think it should get. Let me finish. Let me finish now. He did not just come and say, Nevis should not get fair share or St. Kitts should not get fair share. He explained. He took him time, and he took the time, and he explained and provided information and data. Listen to the both sides. Listen to him. Listen to Carlisle. So I wouldn't go into it. I wouldn't go into it. I wouldn't go into it from an ignorant standpoint to say, well, he just came and said nothing for Nevis or nothing for St. Kitts or whatever. You're right, but did you listen to him? Did you listen to what he said? Right.
The entire thing.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he's talking about, but the conclusion of the matter, you don't write essay, right? The conclusion is important.
The conclusion is very important, but I'm asking you if you listen.
if he was trying to repeat the Labour thing, that was done by Sir Lee Llewellyn Moore in place of strife. Well, he created secession. He's promoting secession. Because if he thinks that it would be better for Nevis to get rid of the Island Assembly and be joined to St. Kitts and be treated just as another part of it, then he is actually promoting secession. Because no sensible division, no self-respecting division would fall for that. I mean, Carlo was in shock. He couldn't believe that for what he had started out with first, Larry Bond, he would end up like that. And that has been the Labour Party's position, I can tell you, because I talked to them. When they went back in 1995, they fanatics, the party leaders and supporters, instructed Dr. Douglas that Nevis rule itself, and therefore he should go over there and rule Nevis.
All right, well, caller, thank you for your contribution. We'll take some more calls, okay?
Anyway, I hope you'll be a self-respecting division,
All right, thank you for your contribution to this program. We're still taking your calls right here on WINNFM 98.9. This is Voices, and the phone lines are open. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Mr. Cornelius, God in heaven looking down on us,
Wait, before you continue, Curtis, you have to turn off the radio. There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah, my brother, good morning, good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Why some people is so dishonest in the eyes of the public? There's a lady that called me this program all the time, and she just said, my elder, me and you were standing for the same thing. Sylvian Henry has shown the world that she's biased. She's not comparing us. Sylvian, nobody went to mass up in church. Sylvian, you can't tell us when to protest. Timothy Harris gave Mr. Bass at Monkeyville a letter on Father's Day in the church. Mr. Cornelius, when the nation questioned him, he went into Parliament and said, anywhere, anytime. Mr. Cornelius, Sylvian Henry is a palm. Sean Richard said openly, if you meet Denzel Llewellyn Douglas at a funeral, go after him. Wherever you meet him, go after him. My brother, what was the meaning of that? Timothy Harris said, nobody listen to Freedom FM, turn it off. No listen to the radio station there, turn them off. That was the Prime Minister. What was the meaning of that, Mr. Cornelius? The three of us ain't called a thing called trouble over there. We stand peacefully, Sylvian. You come to give the biggest lawyer. There's no law say, or you cannot stand up outside the church and stop twisting. Somebody disturb the church, Sylvian. We was peacefully, Larry Vaughan was even singing again. I sit down and say, boy, I love the drum in the church. I would love to play the drum in my next life. And the video again, Mr. Cornelius, shows that the pastor, Sylvian, you can't see, so you wouldn't be able to know, came to Curtis Crook when the fella said, we ain't come to disturb the church. His word was, no disturbance could happen in the church once you have somebody like he here. He touched me in my chest, he tapped me on my shoulder. The man said, I understand. Sylvian, what else you want to twist? Stop this, woman. Mr. Brother, last night the Prime Minister said he's looking after the foreigners. I don't have a problem with foreigners. But in the same breath, he said, the bank water come here. But Curtis Crook and the 50 PDC workers who was fired and others cannot get looked after with the severance money. Timothy cannot tell me why I lose the airport ID. But he's proud to tell our nation who said people bang water, come here, think it belongs to think it's people. But he's making sure they're comfortable. Now, brother, how much more can this man disrespect us in this country? You can't be double standard. Labour had all kind of foreigners. William Bryant was from Antigua. Southwell was from Dominica. France was from Nevis. Assim from Nevis. So Labour was always inclusion of people. Labour never had a problem with foreigners. We welcome everybody. And none of the Labour leader ever said that people bang water come here. Timothy said to us, Dr. Drew, if they say eat potato, you got to eat potato in Cuba. Dr. Drew comes take over things with the Cuban philosophy. Well, where Nubian study. When the boy who won for down in St. Paul study. Timothy must keep to one thing. Stop being such a flip-flop and lie. Oh, Junior and me good. Me and Junior good. Junior and you good and you tell the world that they must all listen to Junior station. You refuse to go on the station. But how much more can people take in this country? With that stupid, my brother, Sylvie get it right. Stop it, man. The video show, we did not disrespect the police. We did not disrespect the pastor. My brother, you have a good day.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to this program. We'll still taking your calls right here on WINNFM 98.9. This is Voices for Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. It is 5 minutes to the 1 o'clock hour, and the phone lines are open. The calls are coming in. Let's head back to the phone lines. You're on the air. Caller, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm trying to clarify something. There's something happening when like promoters are doing events and you quote unquote book a band and you submit your permit, your letter to get permission to use to do your event. What is happening that it seems as if the police are telling you that once you're using a live band, you're supposed to pay for 4 police officers and an inspector, which the total is $780. I want to know if there's a policy or there's a law out there where, because you're using a band, you have to hire these police officers. I don't mind if they said based on you using a band, you need to have 1 or 2 police officers, but they're telling you need 5 or more based on the nature of the event, and you have to pay for these police officers. So I want to know if it's something came from the cabinet or it's something that the police force is doing on their own. And if so, why? And why they're dictating which band, which places using band they are using. You have to pay for the police, and some entity is not paying for the police while they're using the same live band as other promoters and other establishments.
All right. Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. I don't have the answer for that question, but I definitely will pose it to the relevant authorities to get the answer for you. Thank you so much for bringing that to the public. We'll take a break now to give a shout out to the sponsors for this program, and when we come back, we'll keep the conversation going right here on WINNFM 98.9. This is Voices, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program today. Stick and stay. I'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Manifest your desires, celebrating mothers in May. Manifest your desires while we celebrate mothers in the month of May at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Get 20% off store-wide on big and small appliances, bedroom and dining room sets, stoves, refrigerators, smart flat screen TVs, living room sets, mattresses, dryers, blenders, toaster ovens, and much, much more. Manifest your desires while we celebrate mothers in the month of May May at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store with 20% off store-wide. Manifest your desires as we celebrate Mothers in May and get 20% off store-wide at Horsewood's. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
again, Devon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Do you know the name Johnny Boone?
I heard the name before, but I'm not too familiar.
Right, he's an announcer on Dominion Radio, the Christian station.
Ah, okay.
He has a podcast called B.I.G. Big A.S.K. His name is spelled Janeel, Janeel, B-O-O-N. Now, why I'm doing it? He is presently doing a podcast, a series on leadership. Because I think those of us around here think leader is always a man in front without looking at the quality of the person. I am encouraging all of our people to download the app. It can be played on YouTube too. B-I-G-A-S-K and Janeel Boone. Now, he was talking about the momentum, because they have different, it is called 21 irrefutable thing of leadership. I think it's facts of leadership, or laws. 21 irrefutable laws of leadership by John Maxwell. Now, you are a leader. I could see you're a budding leader. And often, we find people emulate the kind of leadership that they see in adults. Last night, I heard the announcement about the Prime Minister coming on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I anticipated hearing the Prime Minister. To my surprise, the very first thing was, when I tuned in, he was being introduced. So I don't know what my good friend Nita had said. But to my shock, it turned out to be a PLP meeting.
Well, before you continue, it was never intended to be a national address. It's a program that is sponsored by PLP. So that was the intent, for it to be a political PLP meeting. I did not know that.
I understood it to be. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When you hear the Prime Minister will be coming on and
okay.
and so. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. But just letting you know.
Once you hear Prime Minister, you expect a Prime Minister to be talking. I mean, the very first paragraph was what PLP and come on. I said, Lord Jesus, I don't turn up my TV and go sleep, yeah? If it's tell me up front what it is. You said it was I heard on your station said that they will be having this program, but your station did not say it was a PLP thing. You said the Prime Minister.
Yes, it is. The first guest for the program was the Prime Minister, but it was not him coming to give a national address or anything like that. It was a program.
Off guard by that.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that it was a program. It is a program sponsored by PLP.
Well, I
so
apologize.
it's a political program.
Mr. Prime Minister, I apologize because I expected to hear the Prime Minister and not the leader of the party. So therefore, what followed after blended in with the opening introduction. You understand?
Right.
So I apologize. But next time, tell them, please, say the leader of the PLP. Because I expect, and this leadership, we have got to address and learn what is leadership. What are the factors of leadership? It isn't everybody who leads is a leader, you know. That is why we have what we have in this country. One person follow the other, the next one follow the other. You start with the Papa Duck. Papa Bracha, Uncle this and Uncle that.
Let me ask you this question, right?
Ask me.
And I listened
No,
to
ask me a
I listened to what you said. You said when you were listening last night, you were expecting to hear Prime Minister, him coming on as Prime Minister, right? And when
in his capacity as Prime Minister.
in his capacity as Prime Minister, right?
Yes.
And when he came on as the leader of the PLP, you decided to not listen and turn off your radio or whatever, right?
My television.
Right? Okay. When you heard the address by the leader of the People's Action Movement, who before the 10th of May was the Deputy Prime Minister, was that your same response?
When I heard it,
there were some addresses made by the leader of the People's Action Movement. Before the 10th, hold on.
Yes, the leader
before
of the People's Action Movement.
before the 10th of May. Was that your same response?
Let me tell you again. Let me tell you my response. I listened to let's start with the convention, right?
No, we have to go back so far.
No, you gotta go and come up.
Okay, tell me quickly.
After they declared that they had no support, that they had withdrew their support from him, right? And they were turned away. He no longer was the deputy, even if people said it, he was not. And he was introduced as the leader of the People's Action Movement.
All right.
I don't go to sleep now. You know why I go to sleep? Because sometimes they take so long to beat on the bush. That's why I don't go public meeting. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
I don't keep it palm where my labor. They beat all around the bush, most of them. I don't know how you think about it.
All right.
They take too long to get to the point they want to make. So I don't just go to sleep. So as I said, I did not anticipate. Because I could have said, well, look, because I just called into the show on Thursday night. Little is my friend. I call in and sometimes we talk for an whole hour or half an hour. So I have nothing against the PLP or whatever. Only, as I said, I anticipated hearing the response of the Prime Minister.
Right.
You get the point?
I got the point long time ago.
Yeah, every Thursday night I listen to their show on Sugar City Rock. Every Thursday night.
All right. Well, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We want to take some more calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls right here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, greetings. Thanks for taking our call, huh? Okay, we're going to step on the same line where you're on, you know, but you keep it conscious. You see me, today is 25th of May, and universally, it is what we call, in the black world, it is what we call African Liberation Day. And it was the coming together of heads of state in different parts of the continent to form the OAU, Organization of African Unity. And the sole purpose to unite the continent to be as it ought to be, you know? And it is called note, the organization is called Organization of African Unity. But the day to mark the gathering in 1963, the second it was, the first gathering was 58, I think. In 1963, on the 25th of May, it is called in the black world, I repeat, African Liberation Day. Because you see, unity begets liberation. That's what it do in every form. Once there is unison, it's all good. And we want to bring it where we are in these plantation zones where we was forced to come. And, you know, when we look at what is happening in the Westminster style political area, it's confusing, man. And it is so confusing that sometimes it seems that even those who are responsible for the confusion are confused themselves. Okay. We listen to the Honorable PM, and, you know, after echoing about the kind of flexing, unwanted flexing from his colleagues in Parliament, his colleagues in the unity, we see a thing come forward. He echoed that, and that is what even us want to know where this come from. This is just sudden, so you mean to say? And then no, as one of the ones rightly said, there was this denial. No, the unity is good. Political unity, even that. The unity is good, everything is all right and dandy. And then all of a sudden, you know, like right south of right pantry and nobody notice it and it just steady. It might get a couple bud pick, but then it just steady because nobody sees it and when it drop, you know. You know what happens when it drop? So, when we see that now, and then in between that utterance last night to confirm and echoing what you think about these elements and how we should see these elements within the political scheme of things and make sure that this unity government, this unity administration, without them can continue along the path it is on. There is jingles, Harris again. And whose voice are we hearing saying Harris again? The same ones who are responsible for for this sudden confusion. If they are unwanted, let even their voices be unwanted within the scheme of things. You see me? So that there in that I see confusion. What we want to hear their voice saying Harris again. Why? You're not sure. You're not sure about yourself. You're not sure about them. Who they are. The misfits that they are seen as. So therefore, you know, no, man. I mean, we must know what we are about as a people because we are the same African people who were taken away, you know. The same people at the continent rightly unite on a day like this, 1963, because once the continent is good, we ever continental people we are good to go, you know. Just
All right.
how it is in a different state right you know.
All right.
You ready for us to leg on your line?
Yes, we want to take some more callers.
All right. Give thanks to the time and we have to step take 6 steps forward and 99 backward.
All right.
If you go, maybe forward. Blessed love.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 13 minutes past the hour. 1 o'clock right here in the studios of WINN-FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me in the program for today. We'll take some more calls right up until 1:30, where we'll bring this program to a close. Of course, stick and stay to 1FM 98.9. We have coming up at 1:30, Working for You. And then at 3 p.m., we have Conscious Business with DJ Coffee. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. You hear me?
Yes, good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Cornelius, Mr. Henry is right. Some of the callers, they don't have no respect for the person who that is governing this country. Because he definitely the Prime Minister until he get out of office. You know he get out of office, you still call a Prime Minister. We people here, we do not know when we have something good, try to beat them around the bush and disrespect. And that is something the wholesomeness should not tolerate. Anyhow, I'm glad last night I was listening to the program with the Prime Minister of the Federation, Thinking News. And I like what he did last night. Catch a lot of people off guard because they were thinking that he'll come and dirty those guys. And everybody will say, you see, I don't tell you, he ain't too trustworthy. But nobody called you to ask him to permanent question. But he explained himself to the nation that these people that we all elected as masters for the Federation, they abandoned their work. And he had to do something about it. Because I know other certain prime ministers, they could never let that happen. Because if you have somebody on a job and they do not show up for 3 days, when they come back without to work, the employee asks them, do you have a sick leave benefit from the doctor to prove that you're sick? And if not, you terminate them. Why can't those ministers in government who are working on it as prime minister do likewise? Because they were sent there by the people to do the people's business. But instead of that, they were playing politics and doing most other things to bring down Prime Minister of this Federation, Dr. Timothy Harris. I like how he did it last night. He just was supposed to ask him a question and then he will answer. Do you have anything to ask me?
Caller, sorry?
Yeah, do you have anything to ask me?
No. I was just listening to you and giving you the opportunity to share your views on this.
We have next week Tuesday, which the program will continue to get our act together and ask him the next time he come around what we think about those 6 vagabonds. What they were really there for. They were there for the money or for power. Because if you come to my door, you have come to my door to say you want to be a candidate for the Labour Party, I'm going to listen to you to hear what you have to say. One come and say I'm a member from the party as a candidate. I listen to, and each person that come and ask me a question, I'm going to listen to them. And it left to me now to think which one of the trees which will be more suitable to run your affairs for the contingency of number 2. Because cannot tell me it's a General Powell who is the youngest baby in the team should have never acted that way. Because he was elected by the people to go in and do the people's business. But instead of that, he went to do other things elsewhere because he's a Hobart. Hobart is the title, and Hobart is what want to run this federation.
No. Don't. All right. Caller, don't you think you just attempted to disrespect Mr. Powell like that? You can't in one breath say people should not disrespect the Prime Minister, but then you go to disrespect a member of Parliament. We have to, be careful with our choice of words. We're still taking your calls here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, Never. That's why I don't like with him, you know. You get here and grease to make you behave, so. If you sit down disrespect one person, you want to go, you know the problem? You ain't yet had a problem for a long time. Already man coming out now tell us it's lies and pure lies. We just got to swallow it. We could see it. It's an open book in front of us. Eh? The things are happening now. Already see money coming. Well, I see our country going to the strangers. They're getting our passport left and right, and when they end up in the state, and they can't say where they get it from and how much they pay for it, or we both giving to them. Then are we going to be in hot water? You just saying one way. Everybody see the robots. Everybody could see what happening. We could see playing. And me went no Oxford, nothing. I went in the country the other day. You could talk what you like, you know, because you don't even go down, maybe down the Bay Road from where you live to watch the sea. I went in the country the Monday afternoon, you know, and what I am told with my eyes was amazing. As I step in the estate yard, me and them, well, they know me because I grew up over there. And when I ask a question, I say, yes, you don't mark out up there the whole stable and the whole, they call it, cow stable, what they used to have. I know that was like that. These people just want you to grab. Family is only for family. We ain't supposed to go down this road. And the reason why the people, somebody sent me a clip on them. And they saying in the clip, Mr. Douglas saying, I did tell you also, you know. I did warn all you. Who we be. And we didn't listen. We went along in it and said, oh, he's a nice man. Yeah, he played nice for a while. All in a sudden, nobody was getting no room. I know a gentleman up in your tongue. So look, when election to 15, I put up the stage of patches. I put up the stage, I'm up good, right? In the heavy carpenter, right? And you can't believe when the roof them start to go out. They go on the money. You know what they does? Say, me ain't no carpenter. They put me to go up front, and then I take it and I give it to you. That wasn't right. You got to look after your people, them. If man said that me, you know. I was there, I put up the stage, I take down the stage, and this is what I get. Right? But that is not for me, man. And people who ain't scratch, I must lift a finger. Get big money out of this roofing thing. It ain't organized. I know somebody went away. And when they come back, they're going to tell me, they told me, look, I'm going to get some roof to do. You know? And they went to a certain person, boom, bam, and they get the roof them. And they wasn't here for a while. And that's not about the people who usually here all the time. Who will want something to eat. They go away, they won't come back with barrels of food away you want. And that is what we cannot see. I don't know what I've seen it, I've seen it playing like ABC, you know. Right? They got the O, they got the U, and what? They got the Q too.
All right. Okay.
Where all the money coming from?
Okay, well, caller, thank you. Thank you for your contribution to the program, okay? Yeah, thank you for your contribution to the program. We'll take some more calls, all right?
Yeah, man. Nobody knows where the money coming from.
Yeah, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. We'll give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. For those of you who are just tuning in, the numbers to call in are 466-0989 or 762-0989. We'll take this break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Get your property properly covered today. Constructing your dream house or considering renovating your property? We will make sure your property is properly covered at Guardian General Insurance. Yes, at Guardian General Insurance, we will ensure that your property is properly covered. with our private dwelling and contractors all-risk promotion. Visit or call us today and get affordable rates, premium financing arrangements from now until March 31st, 2022. We will properly cover fire, lightning, explosion, thunderbolt, bursting or overflowing of water tanks and apparatus pipes, burglary, theft or larceny, impact by road vehicle, riot, strike or malicious damage, hurricane, earthquake or volcanic eruption, flood, collapse due to subsidence of landslip, loss of rent, cost of temporary accommodation, and much more. So get your property properly covered at SL Horsford and Company Limited. Local agents for Guardian General Insurance today. Special terms and conditions apply. Call today at 869-465-9355 for further details.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WINFM 98.9. WINFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who, in WINFM's considered opinion, is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air. Welcome back to Voices right here on WINFM 98.9. It is 1:25. There's 5 minutes left before we close off the program for today. We have some callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Mr. Cornelius, let me be quick. Happy that you're paying attention. Our caller just a while ago said must respect him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's right. But the same caller forget that there was an ad paid that Timothy Douglas was a galloping dictator. There was bumper stickers. Me remember the caller was saying respect Douglas. But in the end, here we call them a bunch of vagabonds. My partner, them were the same vagabond. You were supporting with your heart 100%. I showed them were the same set of vagabond who make you take a vaccine. Them were the same vagabond that have us where we be today, and you were supporting them 1,000%. My partner, I am confused. My brother, be careful. This is happening Guyana with Jim Jones. You be careful. You know, calling them a bunch of vagabonds. But Mr. Cornelius is telling you that the people must have respect for him. And these are the people who vote for you. And Mr. Cornelius, before, you know what is funny? You could recall some years ago I was making that about my ex with Sam Condor when Sam Condor leave. And I said it was wrong and it shouldn't happen. And everybody was laughing and chuckling and getting on. Well, I lived to see 2020. Eugene Hamilton take up the Kenyan people, the number 8 vote, and go with him with it. I wonder how they feel. We need to put things in place to stop these politicians. I keep saying it over and over, but everybody was laughing at me, including that caller. But no. He now calling Jonel Powell, who he voted for, and them a bunch of vagabonds. By something really wrong with our people in this country. My brother, you have a good day, yeah?
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 1:27 and we'll take just one more call and then we'll wrap up the discussion for today. Remember, at 1:30 we have Working for You, and at 3, Conscious Business. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take our final call for this afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Greetings. So we'll seal it up. All right. We'll seal it up nicely. Just come out the phone with my brethren and he might tell me, listen, me I say what me I say a while ago. And he want to get it clearly. So me I say to him, say, well, he said me give me in a nutshell. That's what was about me telling him. He say, if you say, if we are going because it's a journey with the pan, you know. And we are for free, as I said a while ago, you know, this day is unity for liberation in all its forms, so that we can be empowered as a nation, as a people, politically, economically, spiritually, every form every which way, balance. So, if you say, why is people on the journey, and we come out as enslaved, physical enslavement, emancipation, blah, blah, and you run the thing, you know, and you see these people here, supposed to be part of a unified band to make the thing go on, and you see, well, them are divert. You have to go on. You say you're right. You don't see what you see. So what you want them voice, even them voice, I say Harris again for. You don't put in them voice in your, don't waste time, that's energy, that's waste of time, and that's sure that you're not sure. It's your farm like you're not sure that your journey, and the journey is right, without these misfits. That is the point I just said to me, brethren, our phone. And me just say it now to people so that they can understand. And the Honorable PM, he knows that we wish him all the best. He know that. But at the same time, the truth must be told. And this way we see it is, it was just unnecessary, unwanted for them voices to be part of your program saying Harris again. Remember, these are the misfits. So that's why they say the thing confusing, and we cannot build a nation in confusion, you know. You have to show where we are going. It's like a captain on a ship. You see me? Yeah. You have to take this thing serious because it's all about me. We hear the word nation building, you know. And it is, even though it is in an elusive formation, nation building is a must. And when I say in an elusive formation, the naked truth be told, we are not West Indians, we are not Kittitians, Nibians, Angrillians, etc., etc. We are an African people. And African people is about nation building. You see me? So wherever we is, and we embrace that, it is good.
All right.
Whilst we are on the journey of nation building, we must know what we are about, what it is about, especially those who are in the position of decision making that affects Put Moon Sam Bagay.
All right. Well, caller, thank you.
Time.
Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This has been another edition of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. For those of you who tuned in late, for the first hour, we had Dr. Carmen Wilkinson of the Joseph and Franch General Hospital making a presentation on the monkeypox virus or the monkeypox disease for the first hour. And of course, in the second hour, giving people the opportunity to weigh in on matters of national interest. So thank you so much for your contribution to this program. For those of you on the live stream on Facebook and on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me right here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. I've been your host for today, Devon Cornelius. You guys take care. And we have coming up next, Working for You, and then at 3 p.m. we have Conscious Business with DJ Coffee, and of course at 6 p.m. we have our daily sports and news. Stick and stay to WINNFM 98.9.
Found the sound 98.9. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is rolling out D-Cash, the next step in the evolution of the EC dollar. Use D-Cash to send and receive money to and from friends and family. Make payments directly from your smart device. Make payments from wherever you are. Download the app from the Google Play or